I will let you do that. Seeing as how it's 9 o'clock, we'll call this meeting to order. District 2 and District 3 are present, and Mr. Pettis is representing District 1. Notice that the meeting was properly posted May 27th. And Commissioner Mon, it's your prayer and pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this chance to get together and do the people's business. We're thankful for the great weather we had over the holiday weekend. We are grateful for all those who served and fought for our country, and as we recently remembered them this week. In your name, amen. Amen.
All right, first item of business is the minutes from May 21st, 2025. Is there a motion?
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Dun, dun, dun. Item number 2 is claims. Is there a motion to approve claims?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Item number 3 is the blanket. Any changes to the blanket? There are no changes. Is there a motion to approve the blanket?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Item number 4, bid number CW26017.
Good morning. This is a recommendation to award exterminating services. Invitations to bid were sent to the Oklahoma County registered vendors and placed on online bid platforms. We received 6 proposals back, and after final evaluation and talking to the end users, we are recommending award to the lowest bid per location to Duncan's Pest Control for District 1, District 2, the Treasurer's Maintenance Building, and for all special treatments. We are then recommending award to the next low and best vendor for the following locations, and that's based on past performance and experience. And RIP Pest and Weed Control for Oklahoma County Juvenile Bureau. And then Irwin's Affordable Pest Control will be awarded to the remainder of the facilities locations, PBA locations, the Sheriff's Office locations, and the Oklahoma County Court Clerk Warehouse.
Move the recommendations of the purchasing agent.
There's a motion and a second to pass. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Sorry. Item number 5, bid G25004.
This is a recommendation for the opioid abatement grant service provider. Requests for proposals were sent, as well as published on multiple online platforms seeking a qualified service provider for the grant application for 2025. 16 proposals in total were received. These were tabulated, evaluated, and scored by the county manager with purchasing. Yesterday, the top 2 proposals were presented to Policy and Governance, where they voted and approved a recommendation be presented to select the highest scoring proposal, which is the Oklahoma County Diversion Hub. Based upon that, I'm recommending a selection of the most qualified proposal, Oklahoma County Diversion Hub, to provide services should Oklahoma County be selected to receive funding from the OAG Opioid Abatement Board.
Move the recommendation of the purchasing agent.
Second. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Commissioners, I placed a summary on the place settings should you want more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, Let's see, oh, golly. Item 6 through 14 is the consent. Is there a motion to accept all the consent?
Move the items. Second.
There's motion and second to approve item 6 through 14. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 15 is discussion for number 3. This is solid waste grant. This is through our CED board statewide. If you guys haven't applied for this, you probably should. It's actually, I think this is the last week that you can do that, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item number 16. Both of your officers should have been notified about the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services on request for return of $1.5 million in ARPA funds. This was previously given to the Donahue Center, and that building is no longer being constructed, so this is requesting those funds back. Any questions?
Move the item.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Mr. Mason, that is excellent timing. Item number 17 is yours. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Steve Mason. I chair the Citizens Bond Oversight Advisory Board. Back in January, we passed a resolution recommending a sales tax election to fund the new county jail. At our meeting a week ago, like many people in this community, we expressed frustration. We have a site, we have a design, we have a price, but we're not building a jail. Although we are building the behavioral care, which is great. So we passed a motion last week to recommend the Board of County Commissioners aggressively pursue all funding options to build a new jail as soon as possible as designed. So I present that resolution to you guys.
Any questions of Mr. Mason?
Yeah.
No questions?
Do you have a recommendation?
I think it's a recommendation we all have. We need to build the thing. And I guess as a committee, there's been some speculation to all three commissioners support building the jail on that site. And I think we would also appreciate all three commissioners saying, yes, that's a good site. We need to build a jail and we need to figure out how to fund it.
But I mean, with how to go about the financing for it.
I know the commissioners have been working on the process, and the Oklahoma City Greater Chamber of Commerce has been part of that discussion. I think Miles last week at the commissioners meeting thanked the chamber for being involved. And so quietly, everyone's working on the funding, a method of creating the funding. Our problem is our estimate of $610 million for 1,800 beds is good through September. And if it takes us 2 years to find the funding and break ground at 8% inflation a year, 60, that's about another $80 million of inflation. So time's imperative. And I hope all three commissioners believe this is the site and we need to get it done. And we'll keep working earnestly with the chamber and other community players to get it built. And Commissioner Davison, your comment about the chambers trying was helpful last week. Thank you.
Yeah, this morning at ACO, I was made aware of a discussion between county commissioners across the state and not only our partners at the chamber, but myself as well. There's a lot of discussion about ways to fund not only our jail, because this isn't a unique situation. Not only is our manpower not paying enough, crumbling structure, these are not single to us. This isn't unique. This is a problem in probably 70 of the 77 counties across the state. You saw the recent report about 56 of the 70 jails across the state all failed inspections. So this isn't a unique thing just to us. This is a statewide solution. that everybody is examining how to permanently fund not only operations, but create some way that commissioners have the ability to construct new facilities and bring not only Oklahoma County, but the rest of the state into the future. We have jails across the state that are pushing 100 years old, and if not over 100 years old. So we need to not only address ours, but statewide, this is an epidemic. And then nationwide, the manpower shortage and the not paying our correctional officers and detention officers enough money is another issue. And that leads to the fentanyl deaths, the smuggling of contraband inside, because we're not paying these individuals enough to not take the easy payday. I appreciate your recommendations. I know that you guys have worked with this and looked at many, many options. You've made recommendations. You've made recommendations on the site. You've made recommendations on the size. You've made recommendations everywhere. I hear you. I appreciate you doing that. I'm sure Commissioner Mon is the same way. He hears you and understands. I think we're all in agreement that that is the spot. We have been since 2007, as I've repeatedly said, that this is a spot that the jail commission that was put together in 2007 picked. So if there are any questions, any motions,
Commissioner, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Mason. Commissioner Lowe is continuing to research some of the best funding options. We do hear the Bond Advisory Committee loud and clear. Again, Commissioner Lowe is still researching what available funds may be out there to build a new county jail. Speaking of the current jail, the current jail population is roughly 42% of Black folks in the current jail. Why is that?
My committee's over the new jail, so really all I know is what I read in the paper.
Okay.
And certainly the discussion that's been occurring after the recent drag racing arrest and that discussion we've had in our committee for the last 2 weeks, that we put 100 some odd folks in jail, which my wife, who's an attorney and former city judge in Norman, said, well, maybe we should just ticket it and release. So, yeah, I'm aware of that discussion. That's a very good discussion. It was certainly heard very loudly in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
About the overrepresentation of the Black community in that jail.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Lowe definitely wanted to be here for this discussion. He had a death in the family and was unable to be here this morning. But again, he shares you all's concern. And again, he is researching what other funding is available.
Do you know if Commissioner Lowe supports this location now?
This is a location that was chosen prior to him being elected.
Yes, sir.
And so he will support this location because this is a location that was picked out prior to him being elected.
That's wonderful news. Thank you, Mr. Pettis.
And let me say this: he has never, since being elected, wavered from this particular site. Is there other site that he wishes? Yes, but the other site was not chosen. But again, this is the site. And we are proceeding as if this site is a site where a new jail will be built. But again, the question of it is the funding. We would love to see a public dialogue with the chamber, and let's talk about this publicly.
Yes, sir. That's a good plan. And I agree with you on the site. I mean, certainly, I think most of us wish we'd been successful at the airport 18 months ago. That'd been a heck of a site.
Well, I don't think that was the site.
Okay, maybe somewhere else. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
looked like you're about to say something.
I mean, again, we hear what the citizen committee is saying. We've been pursuing aggressively some option for funding. It just seems that it would be imprudent to go out and try to propose something with no support behind it and have destined failure written all over it. So, you know, in the ramp up for the bond in 2022, I gave dozens and dozens of speeches. We had thousands of people taken through community tours of the jails so that they could see firsthand what the crumbling situation was. And it was an enormous effort, and I was only one of many who were trying to help for that advocacy. And so I know what kind of effort it takes when we go out to the community and make an ask, whatever it looks like. And so that's, to me, the part that we're having to work on right now, and there's just unfortunately no shortcut for that. We just have to do due diligence and build that coalition and make the case the best we can.
Yeah, to add to that, I think the biggest issue is we're limited on our taxation of what we can actually do. It's either a sales tax that covers everything or ad valorem. And ad valorem in these times, probably not a great idea. Raising people's property taxes is rarely successful. So we need some statutory authority to do something besides one of those two things. And in discussion with the legislature and commissioners from across the state, we do have several different ideas that we could generate revenue here in not only our county, but again, like I said, commissioners across the state are also interested in this and solving this problem statewide. So those ideas will be presented probably soon. Let the legislature get out of the way, and we can start talking about those openly as Mr. Pettis would like. Mr. Falk, did you want to speak to this item or 18? This item. Floor is yours, sir.
Okay, first of all, I don't know if it's common knowledge yet, but I've been hearing that the arena is $500 million short on their budget, that they are over budget. If in fact that is the case, you will not pass a sales tax in Oklahoma County, and you won't likely pass one anyway. So I think you need to look at your different sources for funding. But I want to go into another issue too. So I question Steve Mason even being on this board. It turns out that Steve Mason owns land adjacent to the jail. So he has a vested interest in the jail not being expanded downtown, not being remodeled and expanded. And he will stand to make a small fortune, or probably add to his small fortune, once that jail is torn down. So I question the bias. And I also question, why wasn't he asked that? Why was he not asked, do you have land near the jail? Is there a conflict of interest for you to sit on this board? And in fact, I would ask that he resign from the board because of that. I think we have a real problem here. We've already had problems with Miles Davidson and the property that we selected for the jail that turned out to be his best buddy from all the way back to grade school, I guess. And we have a problem now with people who serve in positions of authority and positions of influence on this board or on the committees who are profiting from it. He also sits on the Chamber of Commerce at the board of directors. I believe he's still on the board of directors there. And that's another conflict of interest. I would suggest, first of all, that we go back to the drawing board. You do not have the money to build a new jail. You will not get the money to build a new jail. So now we have to look at what are we going to do with the existing jail. And if in fact that is the case, then I would suggest that in the name of fairness, that Mr. Mason either donate that property to expand the jail or at least give us a heck of a deal on it. In other words, I don't want another sweetheart deal where someone who's connected to this body makes money off of building a jail. This has too long been about money and not nearly enough about the 58 lives that have been lost in the jail that we have now. It's too long been about money and not the exploitation of people who are inside that jail and who suffer there every day. So I again would suggest that we focus on that first and quit turning this into an item that everyone profits off of except for the homeless, people with mental health issues, people with drug addiction issues, and the people who have died in that jail and their families.
Thank you, Mr. Polk.
Can I provide some clarity to Mr. Falk's comments? I probably haven't served on the Chamber of Commerce Board for approaching 10 years. Okay, thank you, sir. Good advice. And the land next to the jail, I sold it approximately 5 years ago. I don't own it anymore. I understand. I haven't owned it for about 5 years. And if we'll go back to the deliberation of the Oversight Committee about a year ago, the Oversight Committee was very interested in using the existing site. I believe the commissioners were more hesitant than the committee, mostly for two reasons. One, because of the river that's underneath it. The Oklahoma River used to be much wider and moved around. It was going to cost about 15% more to build there. And the anxiety of building a multi-level jail due to the anxiety of elevators is what happened there. Thank you.
Is there any action? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Mason, for your report. Item 18 is also yours. This would be to a recommendation for the Citizen Oversight Committee to be part of the selection process for the Behavioral Health Care Center.
Yes, sir. Stacy will help me with some exact details. The $43 million approximate behavioral care facilities under construction using ARPA funds. There's several million, though, that is kind of selected by the operator. Some nurse stations, some procedures, some specifics. And to select those things, we need an operator. And we need that operator on board to operate behavioral care by next January. So Stacy and his team have prepared an RFP to start selecting an operator to have them on board by January. Our committee has recommended, and we'd like to help in that process, that Mr. Mike Mize and Mr. Javier Niera be appointed to this review committee for the RFP process, and Stacy may add something.
No, you explained it very well.
Super, thanks.
Dynamite dropping. So just so everybody's aware, the RFP, this is a separate RFP than what the jail is about to do for, the jail trust is about to do for medical operations over at the current jail. Is correct? So have we spoken with the jail, and because they're going to be seeking out mental health provider as well, is there a economy of scale if we join together and do this RFP and their selection process, allowing those vendors to be part of the construction of the new site?
That has some good potential, I would think, yes.
Okay, if we could look into that, I think this is a good idea. The more eyes we have overseeing everything, the better. Is there any action to accept and enact the recommendation from the Citizen Bond Oversight Advisory Board?
These are just to be clear, to put two people to work with Stacy.
That is correct, and they'll just help in the selection process of a vendor. And hopefully, what it would do would be to work with the jail trust and their RFP for medical care that they're getting ready to put out, and that's medical and mental health that they're putting out. So
I just wanted to clarify about
absolutely.
I knew what they were doing. I just didn't know what
They'll just participate in a larger committee.
Now, Stacey, in the larger committee, do we have mental health experts, behavioral health experts a part of that process, or are we just adding more construction people to that process?
No, we're seeking out some medical health experts to help us in the selection process, but we don't want them, if they want to participate to be maybe selected, they can't be on the committee. But those that don't want to be selected, we're trying to find those folks to be on the committee with us.
Yep, that's so. The way I understand it, the committee hasn't been formed yet.
Yeah, that was where I was going with
some
it.
of
To
the-
what committee are we naming them? It's
Right.
an unnamed, unformed
Correct.
committee.
So this will be the selection committee for the future RFP. My thoughts on that would be to bring mental health professionals in, like Kathy Costello, even former Commissioner Bloomer. She was a mental health advocate, and bring those types of individuals in that know this business much better than you, I, or Commissioner Lowe and Mr. Pettis to be part of this, because what we don't know is dangerous when it comes to selecting not only a medical provider, but a mental health provider. But there's also construction aspects of the new jail that we need those construction type individuals on that committee as well, just so we can kind of rein in some of that.
Are you envisioning a BOCC created committee?
I think that's what it's going to need to be.
It'll end up being a BOCC created once
So-
we
So
get a
with
bunch
that,
of names to you.
with that being said, could we wait until those criteria have been finalized before we start appointing people to the selection committee?
Yeah, because I would think too, from the citizen, I mean, it'll just balloon up that committee. I appreciate their willingness to serve, but I get too concerned about a mob-sized committee that I just don't want it to be too bloated. I think while we're charting this, are you planning just to draft it as the chair, or
I can, but
in the past, I've advocated that we have Oklahoma County residents. I mean, it seems we're so large, but I have come to appreciate that we have experts in this across the state, and that there is such a state interest in this that perhaps we should not have a residential requirement on this particular advisory committee. I mean, if there's
I think that'd be wise.
a person of real expertise that's somewhere else in Oklahoma, I think we'd be wise to take it and not be limiting ourselves for whoever's drafting it. I just thought I'd throw that out there for a suggestion.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussions with Department of Mental Health as well, between the jail trust and them, about our current mental health and things we can do to improve the situation that we currently have. They're working together extensively over there. I think having an individual like that not only knows our current and knows a jail setting, but also the mental health aspect of it and the diversionary aspect of not incarcerating some of those individuals should be part of that, especially since our behavioral health care center is going to be more diversionary and less incarceration. So yes, absolute merit. I do think we leave that open statewide, because I do think there are experts that just reside over the county line to Logan County, for instance, and Cleveland County. There's certainly experts that have operated Griffith and all those across the state. So I appreciate these individuals willing to serve. I think they would be great. I do think we need construction representatives on this as well, because again, we are dealing with the construction aspect of it. And it is the mental health professionals saying, this is what we would like to see if we were operating this. And that's the importance of.
I can see the need for a liaison, but
construction.
if we had a 7-member committee or something,
Oh,
to
gosh,
get
no.
2 spots to this,
No.
it's essentially what the oversight committee is already created for. They just need someone to be a messenger back, it seems to me.
Yeah.
They're ultimately still going to be responsible for the oversight, in my view. So it's just about receiving input from expert advisors from mental health that would give us consideration on the behavioral care, specifically the behavioral care center.
I can envision that working as well, if Mr. Mize and Mr. Nera would just oversee what the mental health professionals were looking at.
I don't want to duplicate efforts.
Yeah.
I mean, we've asked these citizens to serve in oversight of the construction and to have a.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I absolutely do. That's why I think that there's some economy of scale helping or inserting the jail trust into this process, and purchasing agents and everybody else. There's absolutely having that ability there and having that knowledge in play. Mr. Pettis, anything?
We definitely need to have behavioral health and mental health experts a part of the process. So until those criteria have been formed, I'm not in favor of appointing 2 construction people to this committee.
I don't even think we could right now anyway, since it's
No.
not created. So no disrespect to this submission, Mr. Chairman. Mason, but I don't think we can take action on this right now anyway, since we don't have a named committee to appoint them.
No, and I don't think it's any issue whatsoever to have the advisory board oversee or participate. I shouldn't say oversee, participate in the selection process. I don't think that's an issue. I think we will absolutely plug you guys in, Mr. Mason. We might have jumped the gun here just a little bit, but we will get you guys involved for sure. All right, if there's not any further questions.
Do you want to take the lead on forming the committee framework, or?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. I will work with the jail trust and with Stacy and with the county manager, and we can put something together, including mental health representatives about how many of them need to be on that, and then anything else that also purchasing agents, everybody that needs to be involved in that process. That is something that more than willing to put together and put forth for your guys' approval.
I just think it makes the most sense since you're bridging the jail trust and.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind.
More than happy to do it. More than happy to work with the advisory board as well. So, seeing no further questions, item 19, again, thank you, Mr. Mason. Mr. Falk, you didn't have anything to add to that, did you? Okay, thank you. Item number 19, Mr. Trumbo.
This is on our behavioral care center. As you'll recall, that guaranteed maximum price was set before the plans were done, and that's pretty normal in the CMAR. So these plans and specs were substituted in as we finished construction documents. These were done pre-bid, so
okay.
The subs actually bid these plans. So we're just cleaning up the record of what the final plans really will be.
So this is an approval of a change order?
Yes, and there's no cost or no days associated with it. It's just substitution of the plan sheets that they actually bid off of.
Okay, so this change order is a no-cost change order. Okay.
Now, Stacy, when is the completion date?
The behavioral care center has to be finished by December 31st of 2026.
So we will meet that date.
Yes, we will.
Is there a motion to approve the change order of no cost?
Move the item.
Second.
There's motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Item number 20.
This is on the 11th floor of the courthouse. It's another change order based on a plan error. It's $10,570 for some demolition of some concrete that was shown on the plans as the CMU wall. So it's a lot harder to get out of there.
Okay. You've heard the explanation. Is there a motion to approve the $10,570 change order?
Move the item.
Second.
There's motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 21, Stacy.
This is our SERB project, Luther Road over the North Canadian River. It's to pay Pinnacle for their services in buying the right of way. The money's actually held at ODOT, so we sign the affidavit here and send it over for payment. This is for $2,500.
Commissioner Mon, this has only been 16 years in the making.
I mean, forever.
Would you like to make?
I'd be happy to. I was letting Mr. Pettis do all the motioning today, but if you don't mind, I'll make the motion on this one.
Absolutely. And I will second it.
Thank you.
There's a motion and second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye. And I'm told, Mr. Chairman, we need to strike item 22.
That is correct. Is there a motion?
Move to strike.
There's a motion to strike. Is there a second? And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 23 is MIS. Dane, let's see. Agreement renewal. This is a renewal with Diversion Hub to. Okay. Any different than last year?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
And they're here in the audience if you have any questions of them.
Move the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for all you do. Discussion, possible action, renewal with Dover. Any increase in cost?
This one, we raised the blanket $1,000 from 7 to 8.
Okay. There
may be some additional costs. We're just giving us some extra room there.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Move the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 25 is Esri. Go ahead. Explain away.
This is the first time we've had it, so 216,900, that's our portion of it. The 166,400 will be paid by the assessor.
Okay.
Move the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Anderson, this is Francis Tuttle for an oh no, this is for your office out there.
Yes, this is our annual lease renewal for our office space that we use as a briefing station, have a classroom, we run a bunch of educational stuff out of there. Great partnership with Francis Tuttle.
Is there a motion?
Move the item.
There's a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor? Aye. 27 is Francis Tuttle.
And this is the MOU for our 4 school resource officers we have assigned to their different campuses across the metro area. Again, another long-standing, we've been in Francis Tuttle for 20 plus years.
All right, move the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners' comments. Mr. Pettis.
Again, Commissioner Lowe could not be here because he had a death in the family. Thank you.
Commissioner Mon.
Condolences to Commissioner Lowe.
Absolutely. Condolences if the Commissioner Lowe. Yesterday was a funeral of an old friend of mine and probably an old friend of yours. Larry Ferguson, State Representative Larry Ferguson from Cleveland, Oklahoma, a newspaperman, passed away last week in his funeral, and he lied in state yesterday at the Capitol. He was a great man. So, any new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to recess into executive session?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. We stand in recess. Thank you. Ready, Sharon? Excellent. Is there a motion to return from executive session?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to return from executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 29. Is there a motion?
You want me to?
Go ahead.
To move this, subject to any, unclaimed taxes, to
Unpaid back taxes.
back taxes.
There you go. Second. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Citizens participation, Mr. Falk. This is, you have closing comment here on your sheet. The floor is yours. Man, this thing is going nuts.
I didn't make it up there to Larry's deal yesterday. I was trying to get out of here and I couldn't. Did you go?
You know, as we're talking about giving the jail trust more input on some of the future things that we're doing, I think we need to talk about the jail trust and why it has continued to exist. Why have we now been through, I believe Stephen Buck is the 5th chair of the jail trust. I've heard people say, well, we need to just replace some of the members and make it more effective. But we've had a 2 to 3 time turnover of that entire body over the last 4.5 years. So for the community and for the taxpayers to have any faith that you would appoint new people who would do a better job than the existing people or the people who resigned or the 4 chairpersons before Stephen Buck, who was adamant that he was only going to serve for 1 month. And A.J. Griffin, who they appointed as the interim vice chair, was adamant that she will only serve for 1 month until it comes time to elect the yearly election for chair and vice chair. And in fact, from their comments, it sounded like they may not even stay on the trust. But here's the situation we have. We can argue about whether it would be better to give it back to the sheriff or to the sheriff, because this specific sheriff has never had control of that. But the truth is this: under the sheriffs, we had an average of 3 to 4 deaths a year. Under the trust, we have had an average of 12 deaths a year, 58 deaths in less than 5 years, 58 deaths. And to say, give us one more chance, let's extend it one more time, each time is another death, and another death, and another death, and another death. And I will tell you that they have not passed a single health inspection since they took over. They have not done a good job of running that jail, and anyone in America can tell you that now. It is time for that jail trust to be dissolved. We would be happy to work with Sheriff Johnson or anyone in this group to help make that happen smoothly and do the things that we need to do to make that jail a humane, constitutional, and safe place for the people who are inside there. We need to be working across the aisle, I should say, to another body, to the city, to encourage them to reduce the number of people they put in that jail, just like Mr. Mason said. Cite and release, mental health programs, drug and alcohol addiction programs, homeless programs. Those are the programs that reduce the jail population. We build a new jail. You get rid of the jail trust. You give it back to the sheriff. We don't need as many employees because we have less detainees. And now we're back on track to a humane, decent society that can be managed by professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Folk. Commissioners, anything to add? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We stand in adjournment. Ready? All right, we'll call this meeting to order. All three members are present. Notice that the meeting was properly posted May 27, 2025. First item of business is the minutes from May 21st.
Move the item.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Item number 2 is the claims. Any questions? Uh-oh. Not on claims. All right, is there a motion to approve claims?
Move the item.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 3 is a progressive payment to GH2, the architect selected to help design or to design the additional courtrooms to be constructed at JJC. This payment is in the amount of $8,937.50.
You've heard the explanation. Is there any questions?
Move the item.
There's a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Item number 4, the garage contracts.
Parking spots.
Yep. Is there a motion to approve?
Move the item.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 5.
Item number 5 is progressive payment to Super Roofs, the contractor under a design build program to replace the roof at 7401 Northeast 23rd Street. This payment is in the amount of $269,974.14.
And before I make the motion, what is the warranty on this?
So long as there's no tornado, they're good.
Of course, you can find the contract.
Well, in that case, our insurance would be called into play, but the warranty, the standard warranty is a manufacturer's warranty of 20 years. That roof, we're replacing under a design build approach, which employs the architect to work with the contractor at the onset. I like this approach because it makes the architect, in some respects, many respects, responsible for the outcome of the project. We are moving away from a flat roof to a pitched roof, which takes water off the roof entirely. Again, a 20-year manufacturer's warranty.
All right, thank you. I did have an opportunity to drive by there yesterday, and so I appreciate the work that they are doing. With that being said, I move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is the asked use for the ACOG parking lot at North Lincoln Boulevard by the Major Taylor Cycling Club of Oklahoma. I believe all their paperwork is in order. The date's June 28th, 2025, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. on that day.
Move the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Citizen participation, Sharon, I don't have any in front of me. Okay, board comments. Seeing none. New business. Seeing none. Seeing the business complete of the PBA, I'll declare this meeting adjourned.